Om Sai Ram. Dear Sai devotees, November 30th, 2021, being the 105th Mahasamadhi day of Sri Radhakrishna Mai, it is vital for all the Sai devotees to reminisce the exemplary services rendered by the Divine Mother Sri Radhakrishna Mai to our Sadguru Shirdi Sai Baba. She was not an ordinary disciple. She was a Siddha Yogini. She passed away on November 20th, 1916. Let me now brief her life story based on the letter written by late Sri M.B. Reg that was published in Sai Sudha magazine in June 1990 and extracted from the great book The Secret Divine Life of Prema Mai, Siddha Yogini Sri Radhakrishna Mai by Siddha Guru Sri Ramanananda Maharishi. Original name of Sri Radhakrishna Mai was Sundari Bai Shirsagar. In 1899 AD, Sundari Bai Shirsagar turned 17 years of age and she got married to one Sri Dahitankar and was hence called by the name Sundari Bai Dahitankar. Due to fate, the husband of Sundari Bai Shirsagar passed away on the 8th day of the marriage. This brought about great misery in Sundari Bai Shirsagar. She was broken and shaken from the very roots of the being. As the time passed, it did not heal the mental and emotional conditions she was going through. She was sent to her maternal uncle's house so that the change in outer environment might bring about a healing change in her conditions. Even that did not help. One early morning in the year 1902 AD, she woke up and started running from her maternal uncle's home, never to return. The feeling of vairagya, dispassion towards worldly life, had taken over her strongly. For 5 years, she roamed about all over India under tough conditions. At last, after many pilgrimages and meeting many holy people, she came to Shirdi and Sai Baba asked her to stay in Shala situated between Dwarakamai and Chavadi. Every morning in the land of Shirdi, blessed by Sai Baba, when the sun was about to rise, the light was slowly dispersing the darkness of the night, a melodious and bold voice would pierce the silence of the dawn. The sweet and painful voice would call for God. The voice and the song would make the people of Shirdi feel the necessity of calling the God. The voice was that of Radhakrishna Mai. Radhakrishna Mai had come and settled in vibrant land of Shirdi and blessed the land on which Sai Baba moved and talked in his physical form. Much before other notable devotees like Gaga Sahib Dikshit, Anna Sahib Tabolkar, Babu Sahib Bhuti, Sagun Meru Nayak, Ramachandra Atmaram Tarkad, Dr. Chidambar Pillai, Saint Upasani Maharaj, and Sri Sai Sharananand Maharaj. One evening in 1907, Sai Baba was sitting in Dwarakamai with his hand leaning on the wooden rest. The sun was moving slowly towards the setting point. The cattle were moving towards their shade after grazing in the nearby fields. At that time, at near distance was a building called Chavadi. The building was in a dilapidated condition. More than that, all the sides were open. One could see the horizon from the masjid or Dwarakamai. Around the Dwarakamai, there was no fencing of any kind. At that time, Sri Sai Baba's eyes saw at a distance a figure clad in white clothes moving towards Dwarakamai. Sai Baba kept on gazing in that direction, as if waiting for someone. As the figure came closer and closer, one could see that it was a female in white clothes. A cloth bag was hanging on the back of her shoulder. In one hand was an ektara, a musical instrument similar to guitar, with just one string, and in another hand was kartal, yet another musical instrument. On her forehead was a tilak according to Madhav Sampradaya, a long line with black color, and on both the hands were bangles made of tulasi beads. Also, the neck was decorated with tulsi garland. The dark hair was hanging from her head, reaching below her knees. As she came nearer to Dwarakamai, all the eyes fell on her. Though the clothes she wore were not very tidy, one could see the charm in her face, which would demand respect at once. Reaching near Dwarakamai, the lady unburdened her shoulder by putting the cloth bag on the land of Shiradi. She also put off the musical instruments from her hands. Without climbing up the stairs of Dwarakamai, the lady bowed down, touched her head on the sacred land of Shiradi, and then, joining both her hands, she did namaskar to Sri Sai Baba, who was sitting in Masjid Mai. From her cloth bag, she took out a beautiful idol of Radha Krishna. Radha and Krishna. Krishna symbolizes God and Radha the lover of God. The name of Radha is taken before the name of God in Hindu tradition, signifying the importance of God lover. Such lovers of God are rare, who craves for only God's love. The beautiful metallic idol was of brass, of about 9 inches in size. She gathered 2 bricks from around, placed them together, covered them with a vastra, placed the idol over it, and sat with the kartal in her hand. Along with the music, she began to sing with a pain in her heart. The high-pitched voice was singing and calling for God, saying that the name of Ram is in my mind. How do I please Ram? Oh Sai, I am weak with the karmas. How do I sing the glory of God? Oh Sai, she sung a bhajan by Mirabai. The notes she sang seemed to become one with Krishna. All the notes seemed to be merging and melting in Krishna. Such was the love and pain flowing through her heart for God while she was singing. People of Shiradi, attracted by the music and pitiful and melodious songs sung in a high pitch, began to gather near Dwarakamai. As the bhajans were sung, the people were rapt by the magic of it. They forgot time. They forgot their daily hassles of life. The hearts of the listeners were experiencing something which they could not understand nor could they explain. The earthen lamps, lit with oil, began to get dim, yet nobody's mind and heart was getting ready to mend them. Such was the environment created. The bhajans continued till midnight. Sai Baba did not leave his asan. People forgot sleep. Even the beloved devotees of Sai Baba, Tatya Patil and Mahalsapati, were wrapped in the surrounding. At last, the throat of lady took rest. The hands of Radha Krishna Mai stopped playing on the instruments. The lady went into samadhi. Still, the listeners were in the effect of music. After some time, the lady came back from samadhi. Sai Baba, while giving blessings, said, "Go. This school, situated between Masjid Mai and Chavadi, is vacant, and stay there." After the arrival of Sundaribai Shirsagar in Shiradi, because of her devotion towards Radha Krishna, people of Shiradi started calling her as Radha Krishna Mai. Shirdi Sai Baba used to call her Radha Krishni. Sometimes Sai Baba would even call her as Avdasa. Gradually, the original name Sundaribai Shirsagar was erased from people's mind, and Radha Krishna Mai was how she was popularly known as and called by the people of Shiradi and the visitors of Shiradi. Radha Krishna Mai always used to wear thick clothes. The clothes used to be stark clean. The hair on the head used to be free and untied, sometimes were tied in knots. In her kutir, small thatched home, would be bed covered with a clean bedsheet and a mosquito net over it. On the small platform for devotion and prayers was a clean gadi, a small mattress on which was placed the 9-inch beautiful idol of Radha Krishna made of brass. On both sides, the idol were beautiful pictures of Sai Baba on which the garland of flowers were adorned, and on both the sides were placed pillows with hand-stitched design. One of the picture was of Sai Baba sitting on the stone. The other photo was of Sai Baba sitting on the floor. There was one small additional picture in which Sai Baba was standing, leaning on a wall, his hand pulling up a little of his kafni. Visitors of Shirdi used to visit the kutir of Radhakrishna Mai to have the darshan of these pictures. Also, Sai Baba used to send most of the visitors to the kutir asking them, "Did you visit the Shala?" which meant the kutir of Radhakrishna Mai. Two books were always seen in the kutir, which contained Marathi abhangs composed by Saint Tukaram. The other was a book by poet Jaydev called Geet Govind, also in Marathi. Radha Krishna Mai used to prepare morning breakfast for Sai Baba. Other than that, she did not have to worry about cooking. In the afternoon, she would eat whatever Sai Baba used to send her as prasad to eat. In the evening, prominent devotees of Sai Baba like Babu Saheb Booty would bring their food, and everybody used to partake the food brought by everyone. Thus, Radha Krishna Mai spent most of her time in devotion, singing devotional songs with Ektara. The melody could be heard in Dwarakamai. Sri M.B. Reg came to Shirdi for the first time in December 1910 and narrates further details in his own words as below. In my first visit, the master asked me to go to Mother Radha Krishna, whom he described as his mother and mine. My association with her, and I owe my spiritual life to her, left no doubt in my mind that she was the Yoga Maya like the Yogini who gave Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa his training in Tantra. Mother Ramakrishna, whom the master always referred to as Ramakrishni, was to me an idol of the Madhura Bhakti of the gopis. All her belongings in the world were a dhuri, cotton mat, a blanket, a pair of dhotis, Eknath Maharaj's Bhagavad, abhangs of Sri Tukaram, and a lota. She had an idol of Lord Krishna, she called it Chabi, and occasional singing of bhajans in which she would get unconscious in a deep trance. The devotee I met at Shirdi had views of their own regarding bhakti, and each one or a group thought that his or its own way was the right one, and very often there was intolerance of others' views. Mother Radha Krishna's views was that the master should, like the idols of Tirupati, Mathura or Dwaraka and Pandharpur, have good clothes, ornaments, palki, rath, etc. Other devotees of note like Sri Dashganu Maharaj, Sri Tabolkar thought that Baba was a fakir and ostentation was against his creed. Sri Dashganu was a great devotee, and we find in his kirtans references to the love of gopis, but he probably thought that what was proper for Lord Sri Krishna was not so for a fakir. Being confined to the residence and company of the mother, I was a persona non grata and was far from Dashganu Maharaj until after the master's Mahasamadhi. He then came to Indore and stayed with me. Then, with tears in his eyes, he said, "Baba Sahib, you were very fortunate in living with a devotee of the highest order in Madhura Bhakti. I do kirtans of Mirabai, Janabai, Kanhot Patra, and gopis, and tears flow from my eyes. But I could not appreciate the Madhura Bhakti of Radha Krishna Ai in real life." And referring to mother's sad end, he said There were instances in the Puranas of birth without sexual relations. Once in 1912, the mother told me that she had succeeded by Raja Yoga in stopping her monthly periods. Mother Radhakrishna was of ordinary build, about 5 feet high, but had an iron will and the strength of a giant. She used to fetch water from a well about a furlong away in large pots, which she picked alone with her hands, when a strong man would need the help of another for the purpose. She once gave me a blow on my chest and said, "You are a samsari. Is this hollow?" She then asserted that she was much stronger than me. I replied that I was only a child. She then suggested a trial of strength and insisted on it in spite of me. The road leading to Rehata used to be deserted in the afternoon, and she said we should run with the other on the back. I told her to get on my back and I would run first. I ran about 2 furlongs, and the mother said she was satisfied and I may stop. She then made me get on her back and ran much more than 2 furlongs, and asked whether she was not stronger, and when I said it was doubtless so, she asked me to get off her back. I said I was happy on the back of my mother and would not leave it. She threatened to throw me off, and I replied that the world would stare if a fond mother did so. Eventually, I got a promise from her that she would carry me on her back on the spiritual path. It appears to me that this was preordained by the Master, as when we returned to Mother's residence, I was called by Baba and asked what we were doing. When I told him about our race and Mother's promise, the Master said, "She will take you on her back, and so will I." But then he directed me to give up the practice of yoga. "Do bhakti," he said. "Nothing is more necessary. Only let your heart, head, and hand be in tune." He pointed to the head, heart, and hand, said, "Let these be one." Mother Radha Krishna hated publicity. A gentleman from Mumbai took some snapshots of her without her knowledge, but someone spoke of it as the gentleman was leaving Shiradi in a tonga. She ran after the tonga for about a mile, wrested the camera and smashed it. Tatya Kotil Patil, an intimate devotee of Baba, told me of this in her presence. In December 1914, the late Sri P.R. Avasthi went with me to Shiradi. He had taken Guru Mantra from a woman saint in his young days and did not know whether she was living or dead. Sri H.S. Dikshit was his friend and wanted him to go for darshan of Sai Baba. But Sri Avasthi thought that it would be Guru Droha, faithlessness towards his Guru. When he came to know of my association with the Master, he spoke of his state of mind. He was then the district judge Indore and I was civil judge under him. I told him that Baba was a superb Guru, one with God, and he agreed to accompany me provided I took on the responsibility. We went and Baba asked me who was this Pishat, crazy man with me. Sri Avasthi was excited. Next day, the mother tied 4 mogra flowers together and handing them to me said, "Take this to the Master and ask him to unravel it." Baba smelt the flowers and returned them with a message for Mother Radha Krishna that she should do it. In the meanwhile, Sri Avasthi had a brain wave. He had a small ball pindam of rice out of the Naivedya offering unknown to us and decided that if Baba accepted the pindam, he would conclude that his Guru was no more and taking Baba as Guru would not be Guru Droha. I was with him when he went to the masjid with Naivedyam and the pinda in his hand under the plate. Baba said, "Give it to me." He took the pindam, smelt it, and said, "It has reached its place." We returned to Mother's house, and from the door Sri Avasti rushed to her and fell at her feet, singing spontaneous verses for about half an hour, unconscious of things around him. The mother was also in trance. Later, Sri Avasti told me that in place of Mother Radha Krishna, he had seen his first Guru. In 1914, I was doubtful about my ability to attend the Guru Purnima. The food was used to be cooked in mother's house, but she said that I was not there. If I was not there, it had better be cooked elsewhere. On the Guru Purnima day, she got an extra quota from Baba's Bhiksha. She then announced that I was coming and the cooking started. I reached at about 9 a.m. They wanted a stone to pound the spices. The step leading to the house was considered good, and mother and I moved it with some difficulty. Just as it was in the door frame, a devotee, Sri Purandare, came up and wanted to help. The stone turned and it might have crushed my hand, but the mother pulled it towards herself and the index finger of her right hand was crushed into two. You can imagine her agony, but as if nothing had happened, she soaked a rag in oil and wrapping the bleeding finger, went on to help in cooking. Only after all was over, she called me and said she was feeling the pain and would like to go to the jungle and cry. We went, and for half an hour she did cry. Then we came back for our normal work. What control over the body and indifference to pleasure and pain in the service of the Master. I know nothing about her condition which resulted in her death. In fact, myself and my wife, now no more, were with her for some days, 2 months prior to her end, and did not notice signs of her pregnancy. Maybe because we looked up to her and not to her condition. Perhaps because I did not meet villagers or outsiders, I heard no scandal too. The first intimation I heard was in a letter I got from Narvekar intimating that mother had passed away in childbed. In my last letter, I recollect having mentioned the incident of Baba coming from the Lendi when, after washing the floor of the masjid, the mother was in a trance and Baba stroked her on her back and asked her not to worry. 2 months after mother passed away, I went to Shirdi and, not knowing where I should stay, went straight to the masjid. Baba told me to go to Dikshit Wada. Sri Madhavrao Deshpande and many others came and offered a sort of condolence. This should not have happened in Shirdi, they said. I replied that I did not desire to discuss the matter. She was my mother, and I said, even if she be in the wrong, I would remain quiet, comforted by Lord Krishna's view in the Bhagavad Gita. While this talk was going on, all of a sudden a message came from the masjid, asking all sitting with me in the Vada to come over. We went, and Baba asked Sri Deshpande what they were talking about. Baba further asked what I had said, and when the information was given, the merciful master said, "What do these fools know? She was your mother and mine. She wanted to be freed from her karma, and you know I gave her my assurance. One night she came saying she would not wait, and lifting up my kafni, got in here," pointing to his heart. "You will see her here when you desire. My Divine Mother is now merged in the Master. Let people in their own way imagine what they will. I cannot forget that what I owe to her. I have tried to give you my first-hand impressions on her. Of the devotees, Sri Mahalsapati, Sri H.S. Dikshit had great reverence for her, and I feel I am in good company. I trust you will have a fair idea of the greatness of my mother," says Justice M.B. Reg. Devotees, in this context, I would like to share the most authentic and significant information authored by Siddhaguru Sri Ramanananda Maharishi in the great book The Secret Divine Life of Prema Mai, Siddha Yogini Sri Radhakrishna Mai. A group of people at Shirdi propagated that Radhakrishna Mai had committed suicide and died due to pregnancy. For the past 98 years, people had believed this incident. It is Siddha Guru Sri Ramananda Maharishi's pleasure to present all the Sai Baba devotees with the official information that the allegations made on Sri Radhakrishna Mai's death are false. Secret and sensitive official documents from government records throw light on Yogini Radhakrishna Mai's mysterious death in the presence of Shirdi Sai Baba in the year 1916. All these 98 years after her death, the so-called writers, authors, and Shirdi Sai Baba devotees also threw pointers to the conspiracies that dogged the Yogini Sri Radhakrishna Mai. They used to write or speak that Radhakrishna Mai had committed suicide or died due to pregnancy, and they maligned her character despite her excellent service with divine love rendered during her stay of 9 years at Shirdi. It was propagated that Radhakrishna Mai's body was taken to the Kopergaon hospital and a postmortem was conducted. This is not true and is only an illusion of a group of people and writers. It was found from the official records that there was no hospital or postmortem process in Kopergaon during 1916. The postmortem process had begun in early 1940s and hence this is just a rumor. Due to the sudden death of Sri Radhakrishna Mai, a group of people had suspected that she might be pregnant and they created a rumor that she committed suicide. Based on the village head's version, the police inspector Mamlatdar conducted Panchanama and gave the report to the official. Accordingly, police had written the same in the register as Garbhapat and sudden death. As per the official records and the deep discussions by Siddha Guru Sri Ramananda Maharishi with the officials and prominent elderly persons in and around Shirdi, it was proved that Sri Radhakrishna Mai was not pregnant and it was only a rumor created by a group of people then at Shirdi. Further, you can recall the words from Justice M.B. Raig's letter that he visited Shirdi just 2 months before Radhakrishna Mai's Mahasamadhi and he did not find symptoms of her pregnancy. Even some prominent devotees made allegations on the same issue with M.B. Raig. Raig felt sorrowful after listening to those words, but we know while this talk was going on, all of a sudden, Shirdi Baba called them to the masjid and asked Deshpande what they were talking about. Baba further asked what I had said. When the information was given, the merciful master said, "What do these fools know? She was your mother and mine. She wanted to be freed from her karma and you know I gave her assurance. One night she came saying she would not wait, lifting up my kafni, got in here, pointing to his heart. You will see her here when you desire." Raig felt very happy listening to the words of Shirdi Sai Baba, and other devotees were surprised. This clearly implies that Baba himself proved that all the allegations made by Shirdi people were not true and baseless. This book has 99 chapters and 11 khandas containing around 600 pages. After collecting information on the Yogini in various vernacular languages, including English, Maharishi described in this book her deep-rooted Gopika Tattva, noble qualities, and several other aspects required in the relationship of Guru-Shishya as per Sanatana Dharma. This great book was released on her 99th Mahasamadhi day. It also establishes perfect knowledge about her life and her divine relationship with Paramaguru Sri Sai Baba and is unparalleled with others. The book will counter authentically the false propaganda and the delusive messages on Siddha Yogini Radhakrishna Mai. More so, this great book is written by Sri Ramananda Maharishi with his impression as a Siddha, a self realized soul, and hence it will cater to all the philosophical aspects of Siddha Guru Parampara. Really, it is heartening to note that the mystery and the confusion surrounding the demise of Siddha Yogini Sri Radhakrishna Mai is being erased from the minds of Sai devotees by Siddha Guru Sri Ramananda Maharishi, for which we Sai devotees are greatly indebted to him and submit our humble pranams to him for giving us a deeper insight on this topic. On this auspicious day, may we all beseech the great Lord Sri Sai Baba to bless us all with the Mathura Bhakti that Mother had for him and ever be engrossed in his loving devotion. Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Bow to Sri Sai. Peace be to all. Om Sai Ram.